this one will go through the end zone and will bring it out to the 20-yard line. Miami from the 20. And here is Sammy Smith. As expected, they do want to establish that running game. Felix Wright makes the tackle. Cleveland's defense, with their front seven, it is still learning Bud Carson's scheme. Now, they will not go to 8 defensive backs like Houston did against Miami, but they will go to 7, so all 3 linebackers will come out. Mark Harper, Tony Blaylock, and Stephen Braggs will join a secondary that still features 2 of the top cornerbacks in the league. Second down. And again, Miami staying on the ground. It's going to be third and about 1.5 yards. Mike Johnson, the middle linebacker.
A physical presence on the field. We're going to establish our running game.
Third down, about 1.5 yards.
Marino, what's going on here? Well, a good choice by Marino, but you've wasted now a timeout.
Third down and 1 yard. Opening drive of the ball game. Still on the ground. First down. Got 2 yards, and it'll be a first down.
Positive force for this Miami team. They haven't had that kind of back for years and years and years.
Meanwhile,
Football, but even a deep secondary can't afford to lose those first-line players.
Reno now directing traffic. You can see they're not used to establishing a running game. He's got to sit everybody where he wants, and now he comes back with play action, and that does freeze the linebackers, and this is exactly what a running attack will do for you. It opens up a 13-yard gain by Sammy Smith. Felix Wright makes the tackle, but down at the 45-yard line. He told us yesterday his ankle's about 85%, so the pressures from the outside, that's not bothering him. Said his job is just to do the best that he can. And this time he is taken out of bounds at the 42-yard line. He'll lose 3. Meanwhile, Thane Gash comes back in as Clay Matthews makes the tackle.
It's the most underrated linebacker, one of the most underrated players in the NFL.
He is. Harrison, by the way, that's a 36-year-old body with a lot of mileage on it. First down at the 43-yard line. 15 yards. Farrell Edmonds, the tight end, and Don Shula said we have to get him back into the offense.
In the last 2 weeks, Miami receivers have dropped a total of 14 passes. They spent this week working on concentration. You look at that concentration all the way to the ground, but where were the Browns secondary? No one home on that play.
How many drop passes?
Well, you can get a 16 count or a 14 count. I think the 16 count was a press count. The 14 count, the coach's count. But in 2 weeks, that's an awful lot of drop passes.
Play action fake. There's pressure from the backside. He gets it off, and it is incomplete. Reno going to Edmonds again, had to rush.
When you say he hasn't been sacked in 16 games, that's as much Marino's stat, in fact, more so than the stat for the offensive line.
And there it is. The number is 665 now with the attempts here. 665 attempts he has not been sacked. Stratford makes a good move, has the first down. Gain of 12. Harper and Matthews on the tackle.
Jim Jensen, number 11, coming in, is going to throw a good block here, but it was Michael Dean Perry who missed the tackle. Troy Stratford just put a great move on him on the outside and burst downfield. Stratford extremely quick, good outside runner. And this is a solid drive that the Dolphins have going here.
This is the 9th play of the drive that started back at their own 20, now at the Cleveland 31-yard line. Opening drive of the game, we have no score. Smith jumping to the outside when the point of attack closed down on him, and he goes to the 28-yard line, has 3. It's 2nd and 7, and let's check the other scores around the National Football League. Well, nothing is happening. Houston, of course, they are appearing, but we don't even have the zeros up on them yet. Tampa Bay is on the board. Oh, in front of the Bears. Interesting start.
That should be a real gangbusters ball game.
And look at this, Dallas. Dallas is leading early. Make a note of that because They are favored by some sources, including Bobby Beathard, to go 0 for season. 2nd down and 7. Clayton in motion. And here's Stratford. He has to jump to the outside, and he goes to the 26. He has a couple. It's 3rd down and 5. Hanford Dixon moves up from corner to make the tackle, and now we'll look for Marino to throw.
This Browns defense ranked 2nd in the NFL overall. Much better than anyone could have anticipated, because Bud Carson brought with him a different defensive style. They've established an attack defense, a 4-3, as opposed to the standard 3-4 that have been played in Cleveland. But it has been most effective. We'll talk about that. I think it's the fit, the way that people fit with this defense that make it work so well for the Browns.
And the Browns also feel that the defense you see now and 5 weeks from now are going to be entirely different. They're going to improve that much. Over the middle, incomplete. Jensen, the intended receiver, that was David Grayson, who was going over his shoulder. The crowd wanted a flag. This year he's hit 4 out of 5. His longest is 31. They're going to root it officially 43 yards. And the crowd tells the story. Now notice the time, 6:25. The Dolphins had the ball 6:25 on the opening drive last Sunday against Houston. In the entire game, they only had it 16 minutes. Oliphant takes it at the 10, one of the upbacks. He's to the 20, the 30-yard line, cuts to the outside, and has a return to the 38-yard line. 28 yards on the return as Stoyanovich, the kicker, made the tackle. Cleveland's offense playing with a crippled makeshift offensive line that just continues to get the job done. Backs and receivers. Bernie Kosar, the quarterback, he's learned to love the shotgun, and when he goes to it, Eric Metcalf and Ozzie Newsome will come out. Ryan Brennan and the Cube, Gerald McNeil, come in. First opportunity in offense for Cleveland. First points that have been scored on the Browns in the first quarter this year. 3-0, they trail. Kosar, pump fake, right side, then he goes back to Metcalf and he overthrows it. Maybe running out of time, may just want to throw it away. It still hasn't come together, and it was shredded last week by Houston. 2nd and 10. And here's Metcalf. Maybe the quickest speed of the National Football League.
Extremely quick and running in, as you said, behind a line that has really been damaged. Number 63, Cody Rison, is one of those kind of have something going on in your head that says, are you sure you should be here? Look at the knee operations, the ankle operations, the elbow operations. He's scheduled for surgery on Tuesday, Charlie, and that's no joke.
Inside handoff to Metcalf. Sweep has the first down the right side. Gain of 10. Here's a young man at 5'10", 178 pounds, 2-time NCAA long jump champion, and he has brought a spark to the Brown offense.
There's Cody Rison on T.J. Turner, number 95, and that's an excellent block to hold the defensive end in. Watch the quickness of Eric Metcalf. He is flying outside. A good job of getting wide, and that's one thing this Brown team does better than it ever has before in recent years, is getting outside with the running game.
Metcalf already 2 carries. He's picked up 17 yards. And right behind him is end zone Jones. Keith Jones out of Nebraska, and he picks up 14. Jarvis Williams with the stop.
A side saddle. You see how Kosar is set with that right foot back. You're going to watch Keith Jones explode up inside, and the Browns have had trouble running the ball between the tackles. These are small backs for the most part. Jones is not a very big back at all. He's 5'9", 190 pounds, but he did a good job inside on that play.
First down at the 31, and here's Metcalf. 3 yards to the 28. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Jeff Cross making the tackle. And of course, with the running twosome, Metcalf and then Jones, you set up play action passes.
You certainly do, but you've got to have blocking up front. Rison having real trouble with that knee. just unable to move his man out, and you can see that he is being very tentative with that left knee. I'll be amazed to see him make it through this ball game.
Metcalf is flanked wide to the right side. Kozar to throw. And the pass is complete to Ozzie Newsome. And the streak continues now at 148 games. Second in the history of the National Football League. Of course, you know Steve Largent has 168, and he is injured. Dave Aarons with the tackle. Merlin?
Ozzie Newsome right here, just a little down and out pattern, and Bernie out of that shotgun is going to lay it right into him. And Newsome just continues to do a great job. He said, hey, this game is still fun for me. As long as it's fun, I'm going to play. And he can still get free on those man-to-man coverages. And that's all Miami was trying to run there, man-to-man.
Meanwhile, offensive holding, 10 yards. You bring it back to the 38-yard line. You nullify the play. Down goes over at 2nd and 17. 5:45, time remaining. We're in the first quarter. Miami leads at 3-0. And here's Jones. That was last week. Broke the long string when he had the interception. I feel that he's kind of glad that he got the interception, got it out of the way, didn't cost him the ball game. And now you can get a number out of the way, a statistic that you don't want to fool with. Bernie Stumble is coming back. Here's the screen. It is dropped. Tim Manoa. Screen had developed perfectly, too. The whole timing, though, went away when Kozar stumbled. He did not have a sparkling game last week. Had a couple of shanks and short kicks.
You're being kind, Charlie. You're being kind. He was
some
one
pressure.
He didn't enjoy the films last week.
No.
Most everyone did.
Hangs this one up. Wants to keep it short of the end zone. It goes, and you can still only sack him 3 out of 10 times.
He's talking about how quickly Dan Marino can read the defense and get that ball in the air. And his release is miraculous, but I tell you, he's been releasing very often too soon.
Yes.
And by his own admission, has been making some poor judgments on throwing the football.
That may be a statistic that that is really bothering from that standpoint. And here is Sammy Smith. 7 yards to the 27. Felix Wright with the tackle.
Marino hasn't seen many 2nd and 3s in the past few weeks. At least not with the running game cranking it out.
First down. Clay Matthews and Felix Wright bringing down Sammy Smith. Smith now 7 carries, 23 yards. Now let's check the score. Look at this. Indianapolis, pair of touchdowns over Buffalo. Giants with the early lead. New England also with an early lead over Houston. Chicago trailing. Pittsburgh leading Cincinnati. There's some early upsets that are working. We'll be following. Quick out pattern far side. That's Mark Duper and Hanford Dixon with the tackle.
Those white uniforms at home, hoping that the dark uniforms, that those brown uniforms on the other side of the line are dark, are going to soak up some heat.
Interesting rushing matchups. You do not expect to see that with Miami. Ooh. Good defensive play. Loss of 5 back to the 32. It'll be 3rd down and 9 as Smith is dropped in his tracks by Big Daddy Carl Harris.
Dean's explosiveness, and he explodes off the ball, gives Big Daddy some room to slide in behind him. And it's a great combination inside for this Cleveland defense.
3rd down and 8. Brown showing a 9-man front, and they drop out of it. And the pass is incomplete.
The critical factor there.
Gerald McNeil. Kind of a dicey snap. Reggie Roby with the kick. And it's taken at the 16. And there's a right return on. If he can get around the corner, he cannot. Good coverage for the Dolphins. A 50-yard kick, a 4-yard return, and Jim Jensen, Mr. Everything, makes the tackle. Browns have the ball at their own 21-yard line. Miami and Cleveland nothing with 2:10 time remaining first quarter. And Cleveland has the ball for the 2nd time, this time at their own 21-yard line. Metcalf in motion. Kozar with time. and the pass is complete to Webster Slaughter. Should be a first down at the 32-yard line. Gain of 11.
Good, how you doing?
Interesting thing to look for. Watch Kosar's eyes as he goes back. He'll look constantly to this side to take advantage of the safeties, and then at the last minute will turn around and snap the ball back the other way. Looking the safeties off, and right there, snaps around and fires the ball on the other side to Webster. Now his object to keep those safeties in place.
First down, Derek Tennell replaces Ozzie Newsome at tight end. The ball at the Cleveland 32. Here's the sweep right with Metcalf, and he is tripped up. Good defensive play. E.J. Jr. moving in underneath, makes the play as we go to New York for an update from Marv Albert. Marv?
Thanks, Charlie. At the Hoosier Dome, the Colts are off to a fast start on this play in Buffalo territory. Jim Kelly hit by linebacker Fred Young, leading to the recovery by Donnell Thompson. The turnover led to another Colt touchdown. Jack Trudeau taking it in. Indianapolis now leads 14-0 in the first quarter. Back to Charlie and Merlin.
Thank you, Marv. Interesting, the score there. The score here is Miami 3 and Cleveland nothing. I think everybody a bit surprised that the Colts are out in front by 2 touchdowns. Kosar comes out firing, and the pass is complete to Eric Metcalf. And Lewis Oliver, the rookie free safety from Florida, really decked him.
Now you hear that Lou. His style of play reminiscent of Kenny Easley. In fact, he has a little of that Easley swagger, and when he finally gets comfortable, and it's coming for him, he's maybe the strongest free safety or weak safety in the NFL. Weak safety doesn't seem to apply to him, does it?
Notice the shoulder pads. A couple of games ago, he had linebacker shoulder pads, and they went out about another 6 inches. He cut them back a little, but they're still, he's still using oversized.
He said people were grabbing those shoulder pads. He said, I had to get them off. He said, they felt good. I got some good hits, but he will thump you.
It was a first down at the 42. Tim Manoa. Hugh Green, having possibly his finest years since coming to the Dolphins a few years ago, makes the tackle. I'm thinking about it. Let me put it that way. I'm thinking about it. Second down and 8, and the pass complete at the far side to Ozzie Newsome. Now let's finish out, of course, the week. And you visited fishing villages. Here are the statistics in the first quarter. First down all the way down. Very equal.
Look at that time of possession. Miami actually controlling the ball more than our opponents. That'll make Shula happy.
Third down and 2. Kosar, it's intercepted at the 35-yard line. And then giving ground is Don McNeil, the old veteran.
They brought him back this last inning there by Sammy Smith.
Reno's pass juggled and almost intercepted. Fair flag is down. Farrell Edmonds, and then he lost it behind him, and Clay Matthews, and he had 6 points, and he knows he had 6 points.
I don't know, though. Farrell Edmonds ran down a linebacker, and the linebacker had a 20-yard lead on him last week. He runs a 4.6 40. We'll look at it after the play. They're talking to Clay Matthews, so the penalty obviously would be going against Miami. Harry Galbraith ticketed with the holding call.
And it'll be first and 20 back of the 33.
Edmonds bobbled that ball twice. Matthews bobbled it twice. It finally went to the ground. Here's the last of that play. Watch Farrell. Bounces off his hands, touched the second time, off Clay's shoulder, back into his stomach. He's saying, oh no, the end zone is right down there. Great athlete. I tell you, he's a do-it-all linebacker.
Playing on the left side this year. He's in the past. He's played on the right. Roy Stratford. Just a yard to the 34. It's going to be second down and 19. Matthews said, we talked to him before the preseason game in London. He said it's like driving in London versus driving in Cleveland. He is now moving the right side of the highway to the left side, and you have to think every time. We'll come back to more of the Clay Matthews stories, but this is the total plays we talked about, the fact that Miami continues to stay on the ground. They find out that it works.
Well, today.
so far.
So far today, they've been able to run the ball effectively.
The Dolphins, by the way, gained only 43 yards rushing total last week against Houston. And today they're already past that. Pass over the middle, Jensen, 50-yard line. 2 yards shy of the first down. It'll be third down.
From the end zone, you're going to see Jensen right here just make a quick move inside. But watch how they protect inside to give Marino time on the shotgun. They do not let anyone break clear. Marino time to just wait for Jensen to swing around the corner and come inside to do what he does so very well. Jim Jensen, a most unusual athlete, has been injury-free relatively throughout his entire career. He's been around for a long time. He's starting to lose a little bit of that good speed, but in 9 years he has become more effective every year.
Marino, 3rd and 2, pass is complete at the 45-yard line. It'll be a first down. Mark Clayton pulled it in. Dixon with the tackle. There's the Colts score over the Bills. They lead at home 14-0. The Giants in front of Philadelphia by 3. And New England working over an upset over Houston. That's interesting. Tampa Bay, they've got an upset going. Pittsburgh, they've got one working too. Detroit 7 over a minute. There's another one. And Green Bay 10, Dallas 6. And here's the score: Miami 3 and Cleveland nothing. Cleveland a slight favorite coming into the ball game. Time remaining, as you saw, in the first half. The ball at the Cleveland 45-yard line. Smith cuts back, slips the tackle, gives ground, and makes a mistake. When he cut back, he should have taken what he had there, losing 2 or 3, and he takes a big loss.
You see him put up his hands. In college, he had enough speed to run away from a good percentage of the people in that front 7. Not so against this Cleveland Brown defense. They have some excellent speed up front. Shut down here, just take what you got. Charlie, you're absolutely right. Thane Gash is there, Minifield is there, Felix Wright is there. 3 of the secondary already up there. Great run support from this Brown secondary.
2nd down and 18. The ball back at the Miami 47-yard line. Dolphins lead at 3-0. Field goal in their opening drive. Pass far side is complete. And that is Mark Duper. He picks up 15, and he told us yesterday, he said, I can beat the Cleveland cornerbacks, and time will tell. And time will also tell that we'll be picking the Budweiser most valuable player at the conclusion of today's game.
Charlie, Minifield is the back he's working on, and Minifield very often soloed. They give him a tough receiver, and they say, you've got him all over the field. Watch this shot. Right as Marino releases that ball, Blaylock coming on the blitz really puts him down hard.
Gain of 16. It's 3rd down and 2 at the Cleveland 37.
Very often those shots after the throw hurt worse than a sack because the quarterback has thrown the ball and he's kind of stretched out and out of position.
A wobbly throw, but it is complete. And that is Troy Stratford. 29-yard line. Gain of 8, first down.
The secret for Miami's offense today, for Marino today, he's not 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15. This is a 2nd and short. Marino has all the options. He can throw the football as well as anyone in this situation, but boy, when you've got 2nd and short, 3rd and short, it's a lot easier than those 3rd and longs.
And now Mark Logan and Sammy Smith are the running backs. 9th play of the drive. Marino hot hand, 7 of 10, 78 yards.
What's the matter with the rookie over there?
And here is Smith, and he is dropped for another loss. This one of 6 yards back to the 35. Again, started inside. He was cut off there by David Grayson, and then he gave ground. Chris Pike came over to assist on the play.
Big Daddy Hairston here, and you see him cocked in that typical position. Watch as they put Michael Dean Perry inside, and right there on the outside, Grayson is the man, however, who's going to make this stop on the outside. Bang, inside, no room there. They go outside, and Grayson is waiting for Sammy Smith.
Now Sammy Smith has lost yardage on 4 of his 11 carries thus far.
I'm going to tell him, Sammy, just take it and go up inside. Just go after him.
Reno's pass incomplete. Just the intended receiver with the coverage was Clay Matthews.
You see Bud Carson, I sat with him briefly this morning, and he said, I'll tell you, Matthews is one of the finest linebackers I've ever had a chance to work with, ever seen in the NFL. He compares Matthews to Lambert and Ham, the great linebackers he had with that Pittsburgh defense. There he is.
I think Clay's going to pick one off.
He sure is. Twice today he's had his hands on Marino passes, and both with a chance to intercept them and perhaps go all the way.
Third down conversions, 3 of 5 for Miami. Third down and 16.
This is what Marino's job that is. Has to work as hard in the week and knows that he's not going to get a chance to play.
Yeah, but he does get to wear that out.
He gets to wear those striped pants. That's his reward, huh?
Third and 16. Marino! Is it caught and held? Yes!
Yeah.
Duper, his first touchdown of the season.
Questioning whether Duper actually controlled the football. Look at Hanford Dixon right on top of him. Bounces the ball. They are reviewed, but Duper did have control of the football in the end zone, and he gets the touchdown as a result of it.
And the answer today, how can you play so poorly one week and so well the next? Miami leads it 10-0. Stojanovic kicking off. Metcalf will take it about 8 yards deep in the end zone. Will bring it out to the 20. Merlin?
Go back and look at that play. The Browns play an awful lot of man-to-man. There's the matchup right there. That's Dixon on the receiver, Duper. And watch the great protection in the inside as Marino has time to look downfield, to wait, gets the pass in. Let's let it just go a little bit further. You'll see that ball bouncing out of Duper's hands. There it is. Ball bouncing cleanly out, controlling with one hand. Another angle on that is you watch Duper bounce it away and just hook it with that right arm. Good camera work and good catch, Mark Duper.
Kozar with pressure. He throws the screen. Here's Metcalf. Metcalf to the 25, and a chitter buddy steps. He was so quick I couldn't say it. And there is
Duper. Easy for you to say, Charlie.
No, it isn't easy for me to say. But it was easy for Duper to say yesterday, I'm not getting older, but my knees are.
Well, he's coming off a very difficult year, both on and off the field. And last year, drug problems, suspended at the end of the year, wants to reestablish himself. And he had been one of the premier receivers in the NFL. He can do it if he continues to play like that.
Keith Jones, and he'll pick up the first down to the 35-yard line. Gain of 6. Indianapolis, we can give you an update. They just have scored again. No, I'm sorry. I have that wrong. Indianapolis leads Buffalo 14-0. Giants lead. New England leading Houston 10-0. A lot of strange things going. This is the one I was thinking about. I'm sorry. Tampa Bay. Testaverde has thrown 2 touchdown passes leading Chicago in the second quarter. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. It's still close. Minnesota by 3, Green Bay by 4. And here it's Miami 10 and Cleveland nothing. Fake of the double reverse, and here's the sweep with Metcalf, and he is clean around the corner, cuts back to the 50 to 45, inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. 27 yards before Jarvis Williams gets it. Oh, he's excited.
Incredibly quick feet.
jitterbugging feet.
I remember playing against his father Terry when he played for the Cardinals, and this was the same thing that you feared from his father. To get the ball to him, get the ball in his hands, his reactions, his movement so quick. Look how quickly he changes direction without apparently losing speed. He is most dangerous, but they got to rest him. He's a small back. He can't take the pounding every play.
Here's Keith Jones. And he goes out of bounds at the 28. Flag is down. He goes out right at the first down marker.
The 42, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
Called on Tim Manoa. Miami's time of possession, that was just about their time of possession against Houston last week. Cleveland less than half of what Miami has had the ball, and the Dolphins lead it by a score of 10-0.
A much more physical game from the Dolphins this week, and I'm sure that's one of the things that Don Shula talked all week about.
First and 13 at the 41-yard line. Penalty assessed from the spot of the foul. Kozar can run, as we saw last week, but this time he dumps it off. Webster Slaughter, 34-yard line.
Check the field down where we ran.
It'll be second down and 6. You said you had to be very judicious with Metcalf. He has carried the ball 5 times. He has 2 receptions. He has totaled out 66 yards.
Sack comparison of these two teams. The Dolphins come into this game leading the league, and the Browns not far behind. And look at the allowed sacks. A plus for the Browns. That 0 really gives the Dolphins the edge. But I'm not so sure that the sacks mean as much to the Dolphins or to the Browns as they do. No, the other way around, Gary. I'm not so sure that those sacks are as meaningful for this Dolphin team as they are for the Browns team.
That's right. I couldn't say jitterbugging, so we're even. Meanwhile, Metcalf got a yard.
Charlie, the reason I say that is because sacks in and of themselves, I mean, you get to the quarterback, that's all right. Sometimes the very best play you can make as a defensive lineman is not to sack that quarterback, but to hurry him into a bad throw, which is a forced interception. That's a lot better than a sack anytime.
Third down, just under 5 to go for the first down. Kozar far side, and it's dropped. Pass was there to Webster Slaughter. Hit him right in the numbers. He let it slip through his hands, and it came back bouncing off of the front part of his shoulder pad.
Top of your screen, number 84, working on 49, William Judson. You can't throw the ball any better than that. And Slaughter, who is a very dependable receiver, a fine athlete. Boy, he has they call him Grizzle Man. There's not an ounce of fat on him. But right now, what's going through his head is what went through the Miami receivers' heads all last week. Can't drop the football.
Matt Barr, 50 yards away. Will it make it? Yes, it does. Yards away. Is kicking off. And here is Mark Logan. Now, he returned one for a touchdown last week. The only time that Miami got on the board. And that was 97 yards away. This time he's limited to 21 yards on the return. Bud Carson, the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, and there's his wife Linda. And she is a television personality and has worked in every city where he was an assistant coach. She traveled all over the country and doing different kinds of shows. Now I understand she has been specializing in medical shows. Perhaps she can give Cody Rising some advice.
Yeah, specializing right now in rooting for her husband's team, and happy to see him with the opportunity to be a head coach and a team that is winning and tied for the divisional lead at this moment.
First down Miami at their own 27-yard line, and here is Mark Logan, and a flag is down.
Maybe a face now, holding right there.
Or was that a face mask against the offense?
No, it's a holding call. He showed that, but Al Baker doing a great job of just snatching that running back right off of his feet. Mike Johnson, the middle linebacker, and they're looking to the sideline for a little advice.
We talked with Mike Johnson.
Number 62, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
We talked to Mike Johnson last night. He, of course, played his collegiate ball at Virginia Tech, and he was telling us about when they went in to play West Virginia, and he was a 17-year-old freshman, and they told him that the runway wasn't long enough. The plane was going to land the first 20 feet on the grass. And he said, I believed them. I believed them. I thought I was scared to death.
Well, players, college level, professional level, very mean to each other, Charlie.
Yes. First down and 20 at the 17-yard line. And the clock moves to 2 minutes. So we'll take the 2-minute warning to both benches. We'll have a timeout. And we'll Gator arms.
Gator arms.
Oh, that's mean. That is. First and 20. The ball at the 17-yard line. Reno scrambles. Throws back over the middle to Jensen, who digs it out and goes to the 23-yard line.
Pressure up inside. You want to crack the cup against Marino. You want to come up into his face from inside. There's Michael Dean with a spin move inside. Big Daddy going outside. They force Marino out of the cup. But he knows where Jensen is. Able to get that ball into Jensen's hands to pick up a couple of yards.
They may be.
The play stands. Completion. Second down.
However, I would say it probably did touch the ground.
But it's not indisputable because of the way the shadow.
That's right.
And the shadows and the sunlight, bright, brilliant day today, very warm. The heat and the sunshine a factor. Reno comes right back to Jensen. He, by the way, coming into the ballgame, the leading receiver for the Miami Dolphins. Clay Matthews comes across to make the tackle.
In last week's game against Houston, he
was. Cal Baker. Woo, yes.
Using that 6'6" height, he got up well on that one to swat the ball down. They end the drive. It's the kind of situation where.
Watch today, yes.
And who's going to snap? Kinchin hurt his thumb earlier. It's Jeff Uhlenhake who has had to go in place of. That's Uhlenhake, and Uhlenhake got a kind of a shaky snap moments ago. They've had 2 safeties on punt situations here in the first quarter of the season.
Good snap. Good kick. His first one was 51 yards, and this is a fair catch. And this one is 40. And it's second down and 10. Cleveland at their own 19. Trailing by 7, 10-3, 50 seconds left, first half. Sliding catch at the 36-yard line, then 4 more for Brian Brennan.
They call him BB. He is most effective out of the slot position, and there they are, right up to the ball. 33 seconds. They need some big yardage to get into field goal range for Barr.
A gain of 21 yards, first down. This pass is complete, and another first down.
Timeout.
Brennan again.
19 seconds on the clock, and Cosaints. Now that's a number that'll jump out and grab you.
Kozar, they're going to rule in the grass. Miami gets the sack. That is their 18th on the year. They lead the NFL in that category, and very effectively, they have taken Cleveland out of field goal range. They weren't quite there yet, but they needed only about 15 yards.
Kosar, and you have to give credit on that. Soche, the man that's there at the bottom of the stack, but that's a coverage sack, Charlie.
Clock is moving. We're down to 0.
Another sack, back to back.
Miami 10 and Cleveland 3. And this one will go out of bounds after it crosses the goal line, just by about a yard or a yard and a half, so they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. And Bernie Kosar will try to rally the troops. We asked Bernie yesterday when we talked to him about it, is this going to be fun to play Miami here? Because when you're at the University of Miami, you're sure that you followed him and saw him play a lot. He said, believe me, in college, you do not have a collective bargaining agreement. He said on Sundays at 1 o'clock, we were out practicing. And here's Metcalf. A couple of yards to the 22. It'll be second down and 8. incomplete, far side. Knocked away. Langhorne had his first reception, and after the fumble, it is recovered by Cleveland. Louis Oliver makes the hit. Boy, that ball came out of there.
We mentioned that Oliver striking people with some of the same aggressiveness as Kenny Easley. You see that same hit here, a make something happening hit. Boy, he just knocked him all the way away from the ball, and Paul Farron, number 74, quickly onto the ball, and Oliver coming to the sideline, limping heavily with that, looks like his right leg, either an ankle or possibly a knee. Bob Lundy, the trainer there, to help him to the sideline. That would be a big blow. This is already a very shallow secondary for the Miami Dolphins.
Langhorne for Cleveland now reception in 24 straight games. In the first half, Ozzie Newsome's streak continues. He's up at 148 games. And he has the first down as he goes right back to Reggie Langhorne, who picks up 17. It was 3rd and 9. Judson with the tackle, and Cleveland retains possession.
And perfect pass.
Lifford Hobley has replaced Louis Oliver in the secondary. It's a first down at the 38-yard line. Cleveland trailing by 7, 10-3, opening drive, second half. Looking right and throwing left. Langhorne again, and this time it's William Judson who drops him.
So went back all the way across the field to get the ball to Langhorne.
Questions. Kozar, if he finds a hot receiver, is he staying with him too long? He's come back to Langhorne now 3 times.
No, Charlie, he'll take whatever he can get on the field. And he doesn't favor receivers, he favors opportunity.
And wide open is Ozzie Newsome, 33-yard line of Miami, 24 yards.
In that safety position, with Oliver on the bench, they go right in after the safeties.
And here's Metcalf. And there it goes to the 30 League Championship Series here on NBC. Kozar, second half, 4 of 4. 5 of 5. This is to Metcalf. Oh, he found an extra 4 yards at the end of that play.
Up and get a straight shot at him. He's very good at sliding in underneath.
Cleveland driving for the tie. Here's Metcalf. And he goes over the top. 18-yard line. He has 4. It'll be second down and 6. Bears this season. And 15 of those 18 times they have scored. First time they've been inside Miami's 20 in this ball game, and this is complete. 6 of 6 passes. This is to Webster Slaughter, and he's at the 8-yard line. It'll be first down and goal to go.
Webster Slaughter, the man they're going to come with right here, and you'll see Langhorne coming all the way across, and Webster working right in here for Bernie, taking advantage right here of the good speed. 2 wide receivers on the same side of the field, and look how open Webster Slaughter is. Again, in the area that the safeties would be responsible.
Kozar, 6 of 6. 67 yards. Manoa couldn't hear the audible. We've got flags.
Offside Hugh Green, but it's a touchdown. If none of the offensive linemen move, I think that'll be a touchdown because it was 55 Hugh Green that jumped off sides on the left.
Offside, number 55, defense, decline.
Right on this play. Trying to get the jump. You see him to do that here.
Matt Barr, but it was Pagel who grabbed the ball and shut it down. Ball game tied at 10 as Matt Barr is kicking off. And Logan takes it 2 yards deep. Now he's right out to the goal line.
Now they may call him there. The question, did the ball come out of the end zone? Not the feet, the ball, and I think they're going to call it a safety.
Depends on whether or not it broke the plane.
The ball determines whether or not, when it comes out of the end zone, it did not come out of the
Okay,
end
they're
zone.
saying that even though his feet are touching the line.
Good call. Good call, Merlin.
Let's see now where the feet are and where the ball is. Well, now is that a toe dance or what? I'm not so sure that the ball didn't break it.
Miami at the 20, first down. Pass is complete. First down off of a play action fake to Mark Duper.
Back to that touchdown play. Hugh Green, the man that's going to come offside, but watch the blocking right here of Manoa and the run cutting back against the grain by Metcalf as he goes into the end zone behind good blocking by Ted Banker and Paul Farron. A little cutback right there, just enough room as he pops up inside to bring this game back to even.
Miami at their own 31-yard line on that last play. You just saw history set. And here is Sammy Smith, and he's going to go out to about the 33-yard line. Now with the pass just a moment ago, Dan Marino joined the elite of the top 25 quarterbacks who have thrown for more than 25,000 yards. This is a roll call of legends.
Certainly is, and I think everyone watching is going to find a couple of favorites in there. I think they just put it up on the board here, and the crowd responding as they should to the kind of quality that Dan Marino has brought to the quarterbacking position here in Miami. And look at the last name, next to the last name.
Yes.
Two Miami quarterbacks.
Troy Stratford and Thane Gash makes the tackle.
Charlie, weren't you here with Bob Greasy for Marino's first game?
Yes,
And he has.
And he has.
And
He's
he
just got
has.
one or two left, and he's going to get those. Third down and a yard, and a good move to the outside, saving the first down. The ball was down. They're going to rule the ball down. The old ground cannot cause a fumble trick. And
Eddie Brown, the assassin, saying, hey, he can't kick like that. Well, they had a whole stack of Browns, and Thane Gash kind of booted off the pile at the last minute by Sammy Smith.
Next Sunday, be sure to join us for an exciting doubleheader. Houston at Chicago, Miami at Cincinnati. That'll be the first half of the doubleheader. Second half, Indianapolis at Denver, Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Then there's always a notation plus regional action, which includes Seattle at San Diego. That's where we're going to be.
Charlie gets to stay home this week.
Yes, yes. Not that bad. Not that bad.
Look out.
And
Exactly what they're doing down there as you see Stewart in the ball game.
well, the pass is now catching up to the rushes. Miami 18 runs, 17 passes.
Old habits die hard here in Miami.
They do. Stratford. A yard to the 45. It's going to be third down and 9. Tied at 10-10. We're in the third quarter with 5:10 and counting. Time remaining. Good ball game. Three-man rush, and the pass is incomplete. Duper, the intended receiver. Reggie Roby to kick. I don't know why. I'm fascinated with the fact that he wears a watch in a football game, and I don't know why. It just maybe he wants to know what time it is. Here's the cue. McNeil takes it at the 16. He's to the 20 and brought down at the 21, maybe the 22-yard line by Paola. 40 yards on the kick, 7 yards on the return.
And Sauché in there. Sauché, a very, very quick nose tackle, and they're having a real battle inside.
First down, Cleveland, 21-yard line. Kozar is now 7 of 7 in the second half as he drops this one off to Barry Redden. And Dave Aarons along with E.J. 10 and 9. Kozar with that stance where he can step back away very quickly from quarterback. Speed, of course, not one of his great assets, although he ran well last week in the ballgame. And he is now 8 of 8. This is tight end Ozzie Newsome with his third reception of the ball.
You can't read your number.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh,
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's encouragement to the kids out there who wear glasses and want to play
That's
football.
right, exactly. Just because you have the eyes of an eagle, which you do.
The runner.
He's going to throw it. That's the first pass he's missed in the second half. He's 33 yards. And his longest run in history, 23 yards. A key run against Denver last week. It's 2nd and 10. Ball game tied here at 10-10. 3 minutes left to go, third quarter. And he overthrows Webster Slaughter. Slaughter a little tentative. He had 3 Dolphins surrounding him
Last week against Denver when he outrushed Elway.
Third down, third quarter.
Sack.
The third, Jeff Cross got his 5th of the year. Brian Wagner to kick to Troy Stratford. There's pressure. He gets it off.
Almost. J.B. Brown almost blocked out.
Stratford to the 50. In the Brown territory out at the 47-yard line. 36-yard kick, 12-yard return. Let's go back to the pressure on the kicker.
Right-hand side of your screen, number 37, streaking in there. Look how close he comes to that foot.
And you punch different numbers, you get different kind of updates. You get baseball scores and football scores and general sports information. It's really a very nice service.
And a nice service to charity as well.
Marino far side flag is down. That was Mark Clayton. On the receiving end with the coverage was Frank Minifield.
Good battle between those two, and Minifield.
Number 31, defense.
Minifield arguing the play, saying no way. This is a great battle between 2 very athletic all-pros. Clayton, who came into this game with a bad knee, will run him off and then come back against the grain. Look how quickly Minifield responds. There are the hands. There are the hands, and that's what they called right there.
You were right. Here's Mark Logan. Now go back. Was it not a possibility?
That is a great play by Clayton and a very athletic play by both of those players.
And it's 2nd down and 7 at the 29-yard line. Jensen in the backfield. Marino was out of time.
Yeah, we talk about Marino not allowing the sack. An example by trying to gun that ball out of there.
Field goal and a touchdown coupled with 3 punts. The possessions of the Dolphins. This drive started at the Brown 47-yard line, has now moved to the Cleveland 29, just inside the 29. Here's Jensen, flea flicker.
Oh, the old flea flicker. No, they didn't buy it.
They didn't buy it, and spinning in the air was Troy Stratford as he was turned end over end.
Tony Blaylock.
Field goal attempt by Stoyanovich.
Maybe a little short.
Did he make it? No.
Just to the right.
So Stoyanovich, who is hit from 43, misses from 46, and we remain deadlocked.
And the cloud covers cooled things off, and that will help them.
Eric Metcalf, he bounces back, makes a couple of quick moves, and is dropped at the 25. So he's going to lose 4. It'll be 2nd down and 14. Barry Krause is the man who made the tackle.
Krause celebrating in there, getting a start this week over Greg Clark.
2nd and 14. That's the clock. Time remaining, third quarter.
Blitz.
Lofted down the sideline, and it is incomplete. Well, he's since his first incompletion, he's 0 for 3. These are his numbers for the entire ball game. 15 of 23, 153, no touchdowns, 1 interception. 3rd and 14. Fires over the middle. It's going to be short of the first down by about 4 yards. Reggie Langhorne brought down by Lippert Hobley as the third quarter comes to a close. We are tied.
And I was drinking fluids throughout.
Brian Wagner. Good kick. Stratford circles under, takes it to 22, slips 1 tackle. He's to the 25, 27-yard line. Van Waiters makes the tackle, 42 yards of the kick, a 5-yard return. And we'll be right back after these messages from the possession.
Really good news for the Dolphins, who have as we mentioned last week, held onto the ball about 16 minutes. And we usually think of that offensively, but imagine how much time that their defense was on the field. Yep. These guys wore themselves out, and it had an impact, particularly in the fourth quarter. The Dolphins on the year have not been a fourth quarter team, outscored 56-17, Charlie, in the fourth quarter.
And we are tied at 10, and a flag is down. Sammy Smith, the ball carrier. Michael Dean Perry with the tackle. We'll check out the flag. That
flag bounced right off the helmet, I think, of Michael Dean Perry. That official showing some accuracy in there, although he's tagging an offensive lineman.
62, offense.
Harry Galbraith.
Still first down.
It's a shame that we just get to mention Galbraith's name as we do other offensive linemen. Both the tackles stacked up right on top of Uhlenhake. That would make me nervous. Now they slide inside. You see Perry in that classic cock position of Bud Carson's defense.
Inside handoff.
Faced so often against Houston. Let's see how many they bring.
They show a 5-man front.
They aren't coming, though.
Four of them will. At the 19-yard line, the pass is complete to Jim Jensen. It's a gain of 5. It'll be 3rd down and 18. Mike Johnson with the tackle. 10-minute ticker. Indianapolis 23. You're right, Buffalo. They may be celebrating. They had 6. Giants in front of Philadelphia in a close into scores, and we understand that the quarterback Jim Kelly has been hurt. Flags, there was some jumping, and when they stopped the play, now that was Big Daddy Carl Hairston. Now when they stop the play, usually it's a call on the offensive line unless the defensive player made contact.
He made contact.
I like the hands up, though. I didn't know.
Well, if he can get back as an offensive line, they have protected Marino well today.
3rd down and 12. Marino's pass is low, but caught. It's a 1st down at the 40. He needed 12. He got 15. He went to Duper, and Thane dashed.
Look left first, and then back to Duper on the right hand.
2 weeks, and it's been close. They've been hanging on to it today. 1st down. All game tied at 10-10, 11:57 and counting. Time remaining, 4th quarter. Here's Sammy Smith. He's going to lean to the 41. And it'll be 2nd down and 9. I wonder if they talked to him about some of the yardage that he lost in the first half when he would be hit at the line of scrimmage or yard behind and then try to swing back outside.
That's one of the problems that Sammy Smith is having, too.
2nd and 9. Jensen. Flag is down. He's got the 1st down if it stands. There was a marker dropped at the 41-yard line.
Michael Dean Perry saying they're holding on that play. Very, very difficult with this wide-open style of defense that the Browns are playing to keep them all out of that backfield.
Illegal use of the hands, number 29. Defense, holding, number 61. Offset, offense, penalties offset, 2nd down at the line of scrimmage.
He's solo. That's a tough matchup because not only is Michael Dean Perry extremely quick off the ball, he's a very powerful man, great strength.
2nd and 9. Now here's a defensive switch as they show a safety blitz. And they give Marino a very tough read. And they don't come. He goes right where the safety had moved and then moved back. 3rd down and 5. Moving on the 10-minute mark, time remaining in the game.
You see the hand signals from Marino telling the receiver what pattern he wants.
Visual audibles. Into coverage, and it is incomplete. It'll be late. We'll pass that on to you. The cue. Gerald McNeil set to return the kick of Reggie Roby in that distinctive high drop style of his. And the cube's at the 10. He does a spin move at the 18-yard line, but somebody had a fistful of jerseys. He got about 8 yards on the return.
That is 45 yards.
46 live. We're going to go back to it in a moment. Kozar. Looks outside, and he goes to Keith Jones. Pass is complete. Now let's go back to where
Browns want to get something headed out here.
Usually did that just with one fist, so he pulled him right out.
They know how to hold those offensive linemen.
2nd and 7. Ball game tied at 10. 8:53.
Manoa back to an I formation. Bernie calls an audible here.
Metcalf right at the middle. Ooh. 30-yard line, first down. 9 yards on the play. Game 5 of the American League Championship Series. The Oakland A's, the Toronto Blue Jays at 4:30 Eastern Time, of course, following the telecast of our football game. 30-yard line, first down. Moving on the 8-minute mark, time remaining. And here is Jones to the 34-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Barry Krause with the tackle.
Green was here, yes, but he was not protected here. So 3 have come from other teams. One of them was cut from another team. In fact, Cleveland. Krause came from Cleveland after moving there from the Colts in Plan B.
That is a Statue of Liberty.
That's an old-timer.
I mean, that's an old.
There's the play. Boy, I tell you, that's right out of history books.
I remember that.
Football history. Kosar would like to see that statistic added on the winning side.
3rd and 4. We got flags everywhere.
Time, I think.
Now finish your point.
Charlie, what I wanted to say there was $200,000 signing bonus says I got to prove myself out there today. Good
First
play.
down. 3rd and 9 to Langhorne. He got 12 yards.
Sure enough, it did. It's back again today.
First down at the 43-yard line. Ball game tied 10-10. 6:09. Time remaining. Here's Metcalf. As an aside, in case of you happen to be traveling into the Northwest. 2nd and 9. Good games next week. Kosar has pressure from the outside. It is tipped and incomplete, and trying to pick off the interception was William Judson. It was Hugh Green putting the pressure on, and Judson just could not.
Very, very close.
And that's why he wears rib pads.
You bet. Sidearm.
First down. Webster Slaughter. He went deep and he cut it off right past the.
For the man-to-man coverage that Miami's trying to put on him. And Judson drifts away.
Miami 45. First down. 4:40. There it is, and counting. Time remaining. 4th quarter. Metcalf, fake of the double reverse. He keeps it. And he goes to the 42. So he has 3 yards. That gives him.
Surprises me is Cody Rising. Cody is still on.
He's still there.
Bad knee and all. Still in there plugging.
He may go another week before he has that surgery. Flags are down. Metcalf is down. That was 2nd and 7. That stops the clock at 3:48.
We talked about Cody Rison's knee clicking on him and troubles with it.
False start. Offense. 5 yards.
But I'm amazed at the kind of guts it takes to get out there and play on a wheel like that. I've had some of those clickers in my knee, and they're no fun. Very painful.
Flag is down.
Yeah.
Screen left side after a fake of the screen right side. This is Manoa.
Ozzie Newsome.
He's got a yard.
Ozzie Newsome trying to break it.
He's still talking to players about what he wants them to do.
Lots of descriptive phrases.
Newsome in motion. Barry Redden. A couple of yards. It's going to.
He's much more comfortable now than he was then, Charlie.
He has done a super job. Kosar goes deep over the middle, and it is dropped. It was in the hands for a moment of Lawyer Tillman, the rookie from Auburn, and then he was nailed by Jarvis Williams. It's incomplete.
You're going to see what an aggressive, strong safety can do right here.
Oh, that hurt.
Himself.
See it again.
I don't blame him for that. I'd look up there too.
That was a good one. Wagner, good kick. Stratford takes it at the 3. Inside the 10, you let it go. He gets back to the 10-yard line. 50 yards of the kick. 7.
Browns in this situation.
And Miami from their own 10-yard line on offense. Here's Jensen showing motion. Reno's pass is complete at the 17-yard line to Stratford. And he goes to the 19. It'll be 2nd down and 1. Mike Johnson and Clay Matthews with the tackle.
Stratford was glad he could stay out on the field in the huddle.
That's not the rules of the game, but
well, they're written rules that they live by on special teams.
Yeah.
Good play.
Mark Clayton out of bounds, stops the clock at the 2:04 mark. In the ball game, we're tied at 10. Carl Harrison, Big Daddy, in that cock stance on defense. And here's Stratford. 37-yard line. Off. 2nd and 6. Pass is complete, far side. That's Troy Stratford. He picks up 6. Thane Gash with the tackle. He's going to pick up about 5. He needed 6. They may even look at a measurement. Miami takes a timeout. It's just about a yard shy, maybe a half yard shy of the 1st down. Yes, we will have a timeout, and it's tied at 10.
Minifield's position because Braggs is in there with Minifield on the sideline. But right now it's short yardage.
Over the top. Jamie Smith picks up the 1st down at the 45-yard line. Now, of course, an opportunity.
Well, what do we got here?
Timeout. Cleveland, number 1. 40.
Go all the way down the field with it.
Needs to get around the 25-yard line. Between the 25 and the 30. That's the goal right now. Intercepted. Felix Wright.
Absolutely furious. I can't tell whether it's the receiver who's angry or not, but nobody blocking. He's got great pressure. Receiver fell down.
That was Clayton.
Clayton on the ground. Watch the pressure. And again, Marino refusing to take the sack, but the late throw, Clayton going to the ground, and the Cleveland Browns have their turnover.
And Marino was really chewing on the shoulder pads of Mark Clayton. And Cleveland has a chance for the win. Here's Metcalf. Cleveland now in the same situation as Miami. Score, but run time off of the clock.
E.J. Jr., one of the people on that tackle. And boy, Marino's still hot on the sideline. Charlie, this is the best 4th quarter that this Miami defense has had all year.
And remember here 2 weeks ago, James Hasty of the Jets picked off the interception in the last 3 minutes, set up the touchdown.
Well, they lost in the final play of the game. No time on the clock to Buffalo. So Miami has some 4th quarter pain to think about. They don't want to see it happen here again.
2nd and 9. Kozar's intercepted by Miami. Louis Oliver.
Sideline, Marino will celebrate. Here he is. He will celebrate as he now knows, hey, I get back in this ball game. You see that helmet go back on his head?
Number 2.
Louis Oliver back in the ball game with a sprained ankle, and he is celebrating that interception on the sideline.
And Cleveland takes a timeout. Miami will have the ball at their own 49-yard line with 22 seconds remaining, and they still have to pick up about 20
by Andre Brown and picked up by Freddie Banks in the end zone for a touchdown. So they know how to do that play too.
And they tried it again at the end of the ball game and almost pulled it off again.
Almost made it work. But I think right now the thought is get the yardage and let's try a shot at that field goal.
It's complete. Fred Banks, 16 yards.
Timeout.
Timeout. Miami, number 2.
Miami has one timeout remaining. They will save that one for the field goal attempt. Left shoulder.
Three-man rush. They're dropping 8.
28-yard line, and there's the last timeout. It'll be a 45-yard field goal attempt.
Timeout this half. 40 seconds.
Stoyanovich missed earlier.
From 46.
But he'll have his chance.
But I think we're right at the ragged edge of his distance.
Charlie, those nets on the sideline for these kickers are a good invention. Before they had them, the kickers went crazy over there. Now they can practice and kick the ball a little bit. Stoyanovich has warmed up his leg. He knows what he has to do.
From 45 yards away. The play, though, should not run the clock out.
It's long enough.
It is going left. It stays left. Back to work. Not again.
Maybe the loneliest time in the world for a kicker. Well, at least they didn't lose it yet. I mean, he's hoping for a comeback here and another chance.
And Kozar just runs out the clock. We now go to...
Rick Metcalf, who is very dangerous as a return man. Short kick. Not a good kick.
Metcalf at the 8, 15, 20. Leaks at the 25, comes down at the 28-yard line. 20 yards on the return as we start overtime.
Kosar wants to be heard, walking all the way out, giving everyone the play. 5, 4, he better hurry. 3, 2, just barely made it.
That was the countdown on the 42nd clock, right through the hands of Ozzie Newsome. It'll be second down and 10 at the 28. And don't forget baseball. Stay with us. Actually, now that you're here, don't go away, because after this ball game...
Level here. Are they warning the defense? Crowd very, very noisy.
And Jorgen said the signal is a hand in the air. I don't know if that's what he was motioning. That may have been what they were talking about. He says, until I do that, you know, the crowd has not been warned. Second down. This pass is complete, far side to Brennan. Ryan to the 35. It's going to be third down, about 3.
Miami, of course, thinking takeaway. They have 2 interceptions on Kosar. He'd only had 1 on the year coming in.
2-minute offense. He's not going to the huddle. He's calling the audibles at the line of scrimmage. Trying to change the tempo.
First down.
It'll
Good
be a first
play.
down. Caught at the 40-yard line. Needed 3, got 5.
Had hamstring problems earlier in the year.
Now what Kosar and the Browns are saying, I've got mine, you've got to play yours. I'm not going to let you make substitutions. We've got our right people in. And here's Brennan, and they're going to keep the Miami defense from changing. And the ball is at the 47-yard line. And it is second down and 3.
Forcing the defense to go to audibles to make their calls.
Manoa. Tim has the first down and almost breaks it. To the 30-yard line. 22 yards on the play. First down.
Manoa with surprising speed for a big man. They're looking for a gain up inside. Great block on that play by Banker, 68, who just mowed people aside. Took 3 of them to bring him down.
Manoa again, still no huddle. 3 yards to the 28. It is second down and 7. The Browns continue to call the plays at the line of scrimmage. From the shotgun, inside handoff to Manoa.
They're just protecting their position right now, inching down for a chance for Barr to come in and do what he did last week in the final seconds of that Denver win, put it through the uprights. And right now on that Miami sideline, they're saying, no, not again. This has happened to us too many times this year.
Last week, Chris Barr hit twice from 48 yards out, including the winner. In zone, knocked away.
Almost an interception.
Good defensive play by Paul Langford.
And Langford stretched out, had his hands on that football briefly. Man-to-man on this matchup with McNeil, and Langford leaping for all he's worth. Got his hand on it, got a second hand on it, simply could not hang on to the football.
Timeout.
And Miami takes action holders, Mike Pagel. It'll be 44 yards.
Good snap, good hold. No good. But Carson watched this ball.
4-man rush.
Too quick.
They're throwing the play.
Yeah, look at that.
And good pressure by that defensive front. Third down and 10. 11:46. That is the time remaining in overtime.
He's calling again the signals, and he's trying to say, let's hurry. We got to have it now.
Tries to get a big one. Flag is down. The pass is incomplete, but there's a flag down.
Steven Braggs, who's gone in to replace Frank Minifield, whacked the arms of Clayton. Or was it, I believe it was Clayton.
Banks.
Number 36, defense, first down.
It was Banks.
Yeah.
Clayton and Banks both working on the far side. But watch 36, far sideline. He reaches out right there and pushes Banks away from that football.
And so with the penalty, the ball goes to the Cleveland 47. .26-yard penalty. First down. Here's Sammy Smith. They'll give you a different look on every down. 2nd and 10, and it's low. Bad throw.
Thing that you can ask a defensive lineman to do. It just robs you of energy.
That little drizzle that we had is stopped, and now the humidity has climbed back up.
He's got time.
You can run for it, but he throws, has the first down to the 27-yard line. It is Banks, 20 yards, right with the tackle. Stoyanovich.
You think he's nervous on the sideline?
Either that or if he's competitive, he wants one more chance. He missed from 45 with the 3 seconds to go in the game. Here's Stratford. 22-yard line.
They said, yeah, you got it. Well, he needs to show himself a little bit in this overtime period.
It is Clayton in motion, and here's Stratford.
You see 2 arms on that football. Stratford. It's going to be a kicking of 290, and I think 290 is cheating. Good play in the middle, and it's short by about 1.5 feet, 2 feet, and Stoyanovich gets his 3rd
for the win, and Cleveland may take a timeout just to let him think about it. Scott Secules is the holder. 35 yards for the victory. It's there.